Okay. I'm sick. Okay, based upon some feedback from my loyal fan base, yeah, I basically forced people to subscribe, messaged them, told them subscribe, my friends. I'm one of my own subscribers on another account. So basically, yeah, mic positioning, I've changed the position, one sec. I've changed the position of my mic, and it's right in front of my mouth right now, so hopefully that's not going to make things sound terrible. You're going to hear a lot of breathing because I'm really sick still. Okay, my topic for today. Oh, one sec, guys. You're probably not going to hear anything from the wind right now. So I'm just going to slow down right up here. Okay, should be a little less wind resistance as I come up here. Yeah, my topic for today is a simple one. Should people die? No, kidding. Nothing so philosophical or cerebral. I'm going to try to fit in as much of this topic as I can. I'm on my way to work. So maybe I'll finish it afterwards, or who knows, I'll play it all by ear. Well, I woke up this morning and was thinking about different role-playing topics I'd like to talk about, and one of them is a pretty simple one, I think, and that is role players and empathy. It's kind of what I'm in the mood for. So I haven't thought about this beforehand, but I woke up and thought about it. Are role players, on average, more empathetic than your average person? You know, your average sporty person, or your average whatever. Just people that hold different interests. I've found, not that other people aren't empathetic, I've found in my own experience that role players tend to be a pretty empathetic lot, who are pretty accepting of other people's views and other ideals and such. There you go, that's my vlog. So, agree or disagree? What do you think? My thoughts are that role players are so accustomed to taking other people's points of view, to putting themselves in other people's shoes, albeit sometimes alien shoes or drow elven shoes, drow elven boots, that they tend to be pretty accepting people of other views. Now, a lot of people can make a lot of different arguments about that, whether or not it's true, first off, whether or not that premise even makes any sense whatsoever. Also, you can make the argument that role players are that way for different reasons. And I know traditionally, way back in the day, the stereotypical role player was someone who didn't have much of a social life, didn't fit in, and through necessity was empathetic because they're getting used to being picked on all the time. So I think, you know, that's the stereotype. That's not necessarily my view. That's kind of the stereotype that's been out there. And I can see that. I can see a lot of people having that thought. That, once you're picked on, and the same argument can be made for people who read a lot, I guess. They're constantly in other people's heads. So, they often tend to be more tend to be able to approach life from different perspectives and, if not value, at least acknowledge other perspectives and the right of those people to have the perspectives that they do. Maybe. But that's just been my experience. I tend to see role players as an awesome bunch. I'm a role player myself. Now, I'm not talking computer games. If you're new to this vlog and you are interested at all, this is going to be a vlog regarding pencil and paper role playing. So, traditionally that's been Dungeons and Dragons. Way back in the 70s, early 80s. That was the idea, right? Was that 70s and 80s. You had a dungeon master behind a screen and people pretending they were elves. And I love doing that. I was often the dungeon master, later game master. I guess I should tell you a little bit about my role-playing background too, what sorts of games I played. D&D, Dungeons & Dragons, was my biggie, and I started with the basic set, and went on... I need to oil my chain. Yeah. I'm slipping too, I'm all fogged up. Dungeons & Dragons has been my interest. I love D&D. And Dungeon Master, after that I think I played Star Frontiers for a while. Gamma World maybe once. And as the years went on, it's just a multitude of different games I've played. I won't be able to list a pile of them, but I'll list a few: Rifts, Alternity, Palladium Fantasy, I think, a few times. But it escapes me right now, early in the morning, just waking up. But there's been a lot of games over the years that I've played. My favorite game is, I have two favorites currently. And one is Castles and Crusades by Trollord Games. And they're often touted as a retro clone by people, but I don't think that's the case. They have their own system called the Siege system, the Siege mechanic. And when I review Castles and Crusades, I'll let you guys in on all the ins and outs. But essentially it's, I think, what 3rd edition maybe should have been. 3rd edition D&D, less emphasis on miniatures and stuff, and just on role-playing. It's just a great system, love it. The other system is my personal favorite, and I think it's probably one of the most underrated systems. I'm gonna put on a show for these guys. Look how cool this guy is. It's actually Cortex. Cortex role-playing game by Margaret Weiss Productions. Absolutely adore that game. It's so good and it's so intuitive. Basically I'll review that in another vlog as well, but you basically have a die type for your ability, your attribute, a die type for your skill. You have experience points called advancement points to increase those abilities or skills. You throw in some advantages and disadvantages, which are called traits. They're assets and complications. And you roll 2 dice together and maybe add another one depending on whether or not you can justify it. And you look for a target number. That changes based on conditions and blah blah blah. But essentially you've got the most freaking intuitive role-playing system on the planet. And I think what happened is, I'll say this all for another vlog, but it's underrated for a reason. I think for a very easily explainable reason. I just love it to pieces, and it's a universal system. You get the system itself, and you can use it for anything at all. And I've used it for post-apocalypse, cyberpunk, space opera, fantasy, whatever. It's so intuitive, and I can run games on the fly. Literally, with no ideas at all, I can run a perfectly acceptable, fun game that everybody loves, and it's so freaking intuitive. Anyway, so those are the games I'm into right now. I've played quite a few others, Warhammer Fantasy. I could literally go on and on and on. I know it escapes me right now. Oh, I'm not listening to music this morning, so I can actually concentrate a little bit. Okay, so empathy with role players. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Does role playing help foster empathy? I think, I think it does. But you could argue. What's your experience been with other gamers? Have you had a great experience overall? A horrible experience overall? Have you met some real doozies? You think this makes any sense at all? You think it's a valid claim? Man, what was wrong with me this morning with this? I don't know quite what's wrong. I think I need to bring the bike in for service too. It's not feeling right today. It's really not. It feels maybe tire pressure or chain, or the gearbox just feels kind of weird. Now I've got a Honda CBR 600RR. So, they're known for quality. It is 2012, but I've really babied it. Yeah, mainly ridden it to look cool. That's important. Yeah, everything is weird today. Maybe it's me. It just feels stiff. So I got a few minutes, I guess, before I have to stop this vlog. That's about it. A black car. Oftentimes people try to race me. Oh yeah, he's going for it. Look at that. Edging forward. Slowly. I'll give him a little rev. Yeah, no, I shouldn't do it. Oh, look at him go. I knew that was gonna... Oh, okay. It's a slow motion race.